Imagine remembering something with absolute certainty, only to find out it never existed the way you recall. Not just you, but millions of people remember it exactly the same way. This isn't just a faulty memory. This is the Mandela Effect. Let's begin with the examples, the ones that sparked internet-wide confusion. People vividly recall Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. They remember news coverage, emotional speeches, even school discussions. But in our current timeline, Mandela was released in 1990 and became the president of South Africa. Another famous case? The Berenstain Bears. Many people, possibly you included, remember this beloved children's book series being spelled Berenstain with an E-I-N ending. But now it's spelled Berenstain, S-T-A-I-N. No official records of the Steen version exist. What about Luke? I am your father. That iconic Star Wars line doesn't exist. The actual quote is, "No, I am your father." And yet generations of fans remember the former. Merch, parodies, and impressions included. So what's going on? There are two competing theories, one rooted in psychology and neuroscience, and the other in quantum physics and multiverse speculation. Let's start with the brain. Our memory is not like a video recorder. It's a reconstructive system, meaning we don't remember events exactly as they happened. Instead, we rebuild memories each time we recall them, influenced by expectations, associations, and even other people's versions. The Mandela Effect could simply be a product of collective misremembering. When enough people are exposed to the same false information, it can feel as real as any fact. This is similar to the misinformation effect, where exposure to misleading data changes your memory of an event. But then comes the question, why are some of these misrememberings so specific, so consistent, and so widespread? That's where the parallel reality hypothesis enters the conversation. This idea suggests that these discrepancies might be evidence of shifts between alternate timelines. Imagine an infinite number of parallel universes where tiny differences, like the spelling of a name or the color of a product, exist. If somehow we slip from one reality into another, our memories may retain details from the timeline we originally came from. It sounds like science fiction, but quantum physics gives it some strange credibility. The many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics posits that every time a quantum event occurs, the universe splits into alternate realities. In each new branch, different outcomes happen. Over time, trillions of such splits could result in countless realities existing side by side. Slightly different, but coexisting. So could Mandela effects be glitches, where consciousness or memory crosses over? One theoretical mechanism is quantum consciousness, which suggests our awareness may be rooted in quantum processes within the brain. If true, then perhaps memory, or consciousness itself, could interact with these alternate quantum branches. Skeptical? So are most scientists. But they can't entirely disprove it either. Another possibility is that we're living in a simulation, a digital reality governed by code. If that's true, then Mandela effects could be the result of retroactive edits, changes to the simulation's code that leave behind residual memory echoes in some of us. Like when a developer updates a video game, but a few players still remember the old version's bugs or mechanics. Let's take a moment to examine a few more eerie examples. The Monopoly Man? You probably remember him with a monocle. He never had one. Pikachu's tail? Most people remember a black tip on the end of it. There never was one. The Fruit of the Loom logo? Many recall a cornucopia behind the fruit. It never existed. These aren't just misspellings or pronunciation errors. They're vivid visual memories, remembered en masse. And while many can be explained by branding evolution or false assumptions, some remain stubborn mysteries. Now let's bring in collective consciousness, the idea that we share a kind of group mind. Pioneered by thinkers like Carl Jung, this theory proposes that we're connected to a larger psychic network. If memories can be shaped by this network, then Mandela effects might not be mistakes, but collective memories from another layer of reality. Psychologists argue that memory is deeply suggestible. One person misremembers something, others repeat it, and it becomes the new false truth. The internet acts as an amplifier, turning minor anomalies into viral phenomena. But still, the consistency and intensity of certain Mandela effects can't be dismissed so easily. Some people feel intense discomfort or even anxiety when they encounter them, as if the reality they trusted has fractured. Let's entertain one more theory: time manipulation. If time travel were possible, and someone went back and altered a small event, the ripple effect could alter minor details in the present. The butterfly effect in action. Perhaps a time traveler didn't mean to change the Monopoly man's look, but it was an unintended consequence of something bigger. Again, this is speculative, but not impossible, especially in a quantum framework where time may not be linear at all. Here's the paradox. If Mandela effects are real shifts, how would we know? Our new reality would feel just as stable as the last one. Only a few fragments of memory would remain, lingering like déjà vu or phantom recollections. So what does this all mean for you? It means reality might not be as fixed as we think. Whether it's collective psychology, simulation theory, quantum mechanics, or cultural memory, the Mandela effect reminds us that our perception of truth is more fragile and more fascinating than we ever imagined. Revisiting the phenomenon. Let's start where we left off. The Mandela Effect, named after the widespread memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison during the 1980s. For many, this wasn't just a casual recollection, it was visceral. People recall news reports, emotional tributes, even classroom discussions about his passing. Yet, in our timeline, Mandela was released in 1990, became South Africa's president, and lived until 2013. How could so many people share such a specific false memory? Then there's the Berenstain Bears. Countless fans of the beloved children's book series insist it was spelled Berenstain with an E-I-N. They remember the books, the TV show, even the VHS covers, but today, every copy, digital or physical, shows Berenstain with an A. No trace of Berenstain exists in official records. And who could forget, "Luke, I am your father"? This Star Wars quote is etched into pop culture, endlessly parodied and referenced, except the actual line is, "No, I am your father." Check the movie and you'll see. Yet, the misquoted version lives on in merchandise, impressions, and collective memory. These are just the tip of the iceberg. The Mandela Effect is a collection of shared false memories, discrepancies between what we recall and what reality presents. But what's causing them? Is it our fallible brains, or could it be something far more cosmic? Diving deeper, more unsettling examples. To understand the scope of the Mandela Effect, let's explore more examples that have sparked debates across the globe. The Monopoly Man's Monocle. Picture the Monopoly Man, top hat, cane, and a monocle, right? Many of us vividly recall him peering through a single lens, like a classic aristocrat. But look at any Monopoly board or logo today, no monocle, never was one. So why do so many of us see it in our minds? Pikachu's tail. Pokemon fans, this one's for you. Close your eyes and imagine Pikachu. Does his tail have a black tipped end? For many, the answer is yes, a clear black zigzag, but check any official artwork. Pikachu's tail is solid yellow, no black tip, yet thousands swear they remember it differently. Fruit of the Loom's cornucopia. The clothing brand's logo features a pile of fruit, right? But many recall a cornucopia, a horn of plenty, behind that fruit. It's a vivid image etched into childhood memories of t-shirts and underwear tags. Except, Fruit of the Loom's logo has never included a cornucopia. Not in any advertisement, not in any archive. C-3PO's leg. Star Wars strikes again. Fans of the original trilogy often recall C-3PO as entirely gold. But in A New Hope, one of his legs is silver. This detail shocks even die-hard fans who've watched the films dozens of times. These examples aren't just trivial errors, they're specific, detailed, and shared by large groups. They feel real, too real to dismiss as mere mistakes. So let's explore the explanations from the grounded to the mind-bending. The psychological lens, memory's fragile nature. Let's ground ourselves in science first. Our brains are incredible, but they're not perfect. Memory isn't a hard drive storing exact replicas of the past. It's a reconstructive process. Every time you recall an event, your brain rebuilds it, piecing together fragments influenced by emotions, expectations, and external inputs. This makes memory highly suggestible. The Mandela Effect could be a product of confabulation, when the brain fills in gaps with plausible but incorrect details. For example, the Monopoly Man's monocle might stem from our association of wealthy characters with monocles like Mr. Peanut or old-timey cartoons. Similarly, Berenstain sounds more common than Berenstain, so our brains might default to the familiar. Then there's the misinformation effect. When we're exposed to false or misleading information, say a misquoted movie line in a parody, it can overwrite our original memory. The internet amplifies this, turning small errors into viral facts. Social media, forums, and memes spread these collective misrememberings, making them feel universal. But here's the catch. Why are these false memories so consistent across cultures, ages, and backgrounds? Why do they feel so vivid, almost tangible? This is where psychology alone starts to falter, and we turn to wilder theories. The quantum leap, parallel universes. What if the Mandela Effect isn't about faulty memory at all? What if it's a glimpse into parallel realities? This idea, while speculative, draws from the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. Proposed by physicist Hugh Everett, this theory suggests that every quantum event, like a particle's spin or a choice you make, splits the universe into multiple branches, each with a different outcome. Picture this. In one universe, Nelson Mandela died in prison. In another, the Berenstain Bears were spelled with an E-I-N. If our consciousness, or even just our memories, could somehow cross these branches, we might carry fragments of another reality into this one. The Mandela Effect could be evidence of these slips between timelines. This idea gains traction when you consider quantum consciousness, a controversial hypothesis that our awareness might be tied to quantum processes in the brain. If true, our minds could, in rare moments, access information from alternate realities. It's a stretch, but not entirely outside the realm of possibility. Quantum entanglement and superposition already defy our understanding of reality. Why not memory? The simulation hypothesis, a glitch in the code. Now, let's push the boundaries further. What if we're living in a simulation, a digital reality governed by code, like a hyper-advanced video game? This idea, popularized by philosopher Nick Bostrom, suggests that our universe could be a computer program run by an advanced civilization. In this framework, Mandela effects could be retroactive edits to the simulation's code. Imagine a developer tweaking the program, changing Berenstain to Berenstain, or erasing the Monopoly Man's monocle. Most of us wouldn't notice, but some might retain residual memories from the old version, like players recalling a patched-out feature in a game. This theory explains the eerie consistency of Mandela effects. A coder's small change could ripple across the simulation, leaving behind echoes in our collective consciousness. It also raises unsettling questions. Who's running the simulation? And why are they making these changes? Collective consciousness, a shared mind. Another angle comes from the concept of collective consciousness, an idea rooted in psychology and philosophy. Thinkers like Carl Jung propose that humanity shares a kind of psychic network, a reservoir of shared archetypes, memories, and experiences. Could the Mandela Effect be a manifestation of this network, where certain memories resonate across millions of minds? If collective consciousness exists, it might amplify certain false memories, making them feel universal. The internet acts as a modern conduit for this, spreading ideas at lightning speed. A single Reddit post about Berenstain can spark thousands to remember the same thing, creating a feedback loop of belief. But this theory doesn't fully explain why these memories feel so personal, so vivid. For some, encountering a Mandela effect isn't just curious, it's deeply unsettling, as if reality itself has shifted beneath their feet. Time travel and the butterfly effect. Let's entertain one more possibility. Time travel. If someone traveled back and altered a small event, say changing a book's spelling or a movie line, the ripple effects could subtly reshape our present. This is the butterfly effect in action. A tiny change in the past creates a cascade of differences. Imagine a time traveler accidentally influencing the design of the Fruit of the Loom logo, removing the cornucopia. In our timeline, it never existed, but those who lived through the original reality might carry the memory forward. This theory aligns with quantum mechanics, where time may not be strictly linear. Some physicists, like John Wheeler, have suggested that quantum events could allow for retrocausality, effects preceding their causes. Of course, this is pure speculation, but in a universe where particles can exist in multiple states at once, who's to say time travel is impossible? The emotional impact, why it matters. The Mandela effect isn't just an intellectual curiosity, it's deeply personal. For some, discovering these discrepancies triggers cognitive dissonance, a sense that reality isn't as stable as they thought. It's like waking up to find your childhood home painted a different color with no explanation. The discomfort can border on existential, prompting questions about identity, memory, and truth. This emotional weight sets the Mandela effect apart from simple misremembering. It's not just about getting a fact wrong, it's about confronting the possibility that reality itself might be malleable. Whether it's psychology, quantum physics, or a simulation, the phenomenon forces us to question the foundations of our world. Exploring new horizons, what's next? So, where do we go from here? The Mandela effect invites us to explore the edges of science, philosophy, and human experience. Here are a few avenues to consider. Crowdsourcing memories. Online communities like Reddit and X are gold mines for uncovering new Mandela effects. People are constantly sharing discrepancies, logos, song lyrics, even historical events that don't align with official records. Could these platforms help us map the phenomenon's scope? Neuroscience research. Advances in brain imaging could reveal how false memories form and why they're so consistent. Are certain neural patterns linked to Mandela effects? Could they be tied to specific cognitive biases? Quantum experiments. If parallel realities exist, future quantum experiments might detect their influence. Projects like those at CERN or quantum computing labs could, one day, provide clues about the many worlds interpretation. Cultural reflection. The Mandela effect is a mirror for our times. In an era of misinformation, deepfakes, and fractured narratives, it reminds us how fragile our shared reality is. What does it say about our trust in institutions, media, or even our own minds? A call to question reality. The Mandela effect isn't just a quirky internet phenomenon, it's a window into the mysteries of existence. Whether it's a quirk of psychology, a glitch in the matrix, or a glimpse of parallel worlds, it challenges us to rethink what we know. Reality, it turns out, might be less solid than we assume. So, the next time you stumble across a memory that doesn't match the world around you, pause. Ask yourself, is this a mistake or a clue? Are you remembering a different timeline, a different code, a different truth? The Mandela effect doesn't just blur the line between fact and fiction, it invites you to step across it.